The Bengals are 3-4. They're coming off of a huge win against the Steelers, and they're also facing a major dilemma ahead of Sunday's game against the Jets. Let's break it down right now on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into CBT. I'm James Rapien of BengalsTalk.com. Happy Monday, and let's dive into what I think is a good problem at this stage, but certainly a problem that Zac Taylor and the Bengals have to work through this week, and it's the offensive line. And the offensive line has obviously had a lot of moving parts. And not at the tackle spots, it's Orlando Brown Jr. at left and Amarius Mims on the right. Ted Karras is locked in at center, but the two guard spots, it's a really big dilemma. And here's why it's a big dilemma is I think that Dylan Fairchild has flashed enough, and they kind of gave him the car keys at left guard from the moment they drafted him in the third round to continue playing at left guard. I do. I think from a rookie standpoint, he's done enough where you're like, okay, well, you're comfortable with him moving forward. But he gets hurt. Dalton Risner comes in, and this is a shock. A shock. Dalton Risner plays well. And it's wild. Literally like a week and a half ago, I had someone say, yeah, your boy Dalton Risner isn't that good, huh? And I just kind of smirked and let it go. And that's happened. And people have complained about Dalton Risner. I saw a tweet like, Dalton Risner over Lucas Patrick ahead of the Green Bay game, which is just wild considering where we were right before the season started, right? Dalton Risner is good at football. And we've seen that over the past couple of games. And he's been really good at left guard. And it's hard for me. And I talked with Orlando Brown Jr. About this one-on-one after their win over the Steelers. So check out that reaction. It's hard for me to say, all right, we'll move Dalton Risner after the past two games where they've been able to pass protect and they've been able to keep Joe Flacco upright and they've been able to score points and they've been able to move the ball consistently. They scored on 7 of their last 8 possessions against the Steelers. A big reason why is this offensive front. And when I look at this offensive line, Dalton Risner is not a weak link. He was a weak link when he first signed because 10 days later he was in, after signing, he was in a game in Cleveland and then started the next week against Jacksonville. And shocker, when you're not in training camp and you're not taking the hits that you take in practice and you're not moving the way you need to move in practice to get in football shape, well, you might not be in football shape. Dalton Risner wasn't in football shape. And so he struggled early. But now that he's had a couple of weeks of practice, a month plus, you look up and, he can play? Well, yeah, he can play. Of course he can. They should have signed him sooner. That's the only thing I've learned right now. Just so far about Dalton Risner. I always knew he was a solid offensive lineman, and he's one of their best options. He should start this week against the Jets. He should be a starter moving forward. I think the major dilemma is what you do with Jalen Rivers. Do you continue to start Jalen Rivers? Do you say, hey, Dalton, now that you got your football legs under you, we're going to move you to the right side? Where you started the season, you didn't have your football legs under you, that's why you were struggling, but we're going to move you to the right side? Or do you say, Dalton, we really like what we've seen from you on the left side, we're going to figure out this right side with someone else? And that's what we're going to get to. What should they do? We will get to that as we continue this offensive line discussion coming up next. Today's show is brought to you by Win-Win Athletics, the best flag football gear on the planet. And let's be honest here. You see Joe Flacco, he's doing more than just giving Bengals fans a glimmer of hope. He might be giving you some hope as well that you can still get out there, throw it around, play a little bit. Well, that's where you get the flag football kit from Win-Win Athletics. It is the best flag football gear, bar none. And if you're thinking Turkey Bowl, we'll play a little flag football this fall. It is officially football weather. And if you're going to have a big game, big backyard Turkey Bowl game, well, Win-Win Athletics is the place to do it. Get their flag kit right now and get 10% off by using code CBT10. That's CBT10 at winwinathletics.com. Make sure you also check out Christian Husky of Sipsey Klein Realtors. If you're looking to downsize, maybe you're looking for your dream home, maybe you need to figure out how in the world you're going to get to downtown Cincinnati and get that perfect condo overlooking their... Whatever you're looking for, Christian Husky is going to help you. He's one of the biggest Bengals fans I know, and he's going to make sure that your house hunt, your house sale, everything goes as smooth as Joe Flacco in crunch time against the Steelers, baby. So check them out, sipsyklein.com/chusky. All right, so it is wild. I'm just going to take a step back. This is a fairly solid place to be if you're the Bengals. And I'm not saying Dalton Risner is a Pro Bowler. I'm not saying Lucas Patrick, who could start at right guard this week, is a Pro Bowler. But now you look at it and you're like, all right, well, you have Dalton Risner, you have Dylan Fairchild, and then you have on the right side, Jalen Rivers and Lucas Patrick. Like all guys that have played, all guys that you feel at least relatively confident in that could go into a game if you need to. And that's a good spot. That's a good spot to be in. That's a spot that a lot of NFL teams don't have. So I do think overall, like depth-wise, the Bengals feel pretty good at guard. But what do they do? What should they do? For me, when you're in this win-now mode, and that's exactly what they are, you trade for Joe Flacco. Now you're 1-1 with Flacco, 2-0 in the division. You need to beat the Jets this week. And we'll have plenty coverage leading up to Sunday's game against the Jets all week long. You're like, well, what's the best for us? And I think there's two options. The first one would be putting Dylan Fairchild at left guard and saying, hey, Dalton, go to right guard. There's no scenario where Dalton Risner shouldn't be starting this week. He should absolutely be starting. And so that's one option where you continue to get Fairchild reps. The other option is you keep it the same, the same thing it was Thursday night, where you have Jalen Rivers at right guard, you have Dalton Risner at left guard, and you roll with the veterans at both tackle spots and at center. You could do that. The other option is throw Lucas Patrick in at right guard. You have Dalton Risner at left guard, and now you're looking at all veterans, all guys that have been there, done that in the league. Everybody but Amarius Mims is in their prime or even a little beyond it, but certainly guys that are experienced, been there, done that. And Amarius Mims is obviously ascending, played really well on Thursday Night Football. Look, they have options, and there are great options. I think the one thing, if you did start Lucas Patrick at right guard, is he your backup center? He served as your backup center on Thursday night. So is he your backup center? Because that's a risky game. It happened week 1 where he was their backup center and Patrick got nicked up, couldn't play, dealing with that calf injury. And so now you don't really have a backup center. They haven't had Matt Lee active for a lot of these games. And so you have to juggle that. You do. But ultimately, going with the vets, I think it makes a ton of sense. And if they did say, all right, well, we still want to get Dylan Fairchild reps at left guard, fine. If you don't, and you say we're going to bring him back and he's not going to start again, but he is healthy enough to play, start repping him at right guard, getting him reps at both spots. He did basically left guard primarily throughout his career at Georgia. So getting him reps on both sides, I think, would be valuable. Regardless, though, the thing that I want to see moving forward, Dalton Risner is a starter on this team. He's been everything that we thought he was when they signed him. Everything during the free agent process was like, yeah, Dalton Risner makes sense. He's still out there. Go get him, go get him, go get him. This is why you should go get him, because he's going to matter. And he was a good run blocker the other day. I like his rapport with Orlando Brown Jr. Could totally see that being the case. But we know how he is as a pass protector. You need him to keep Joe Flacco upright. I think he's going to do that or help do that. And that's the key. That's the key. This offense needs to be able to score points. This offense needs to be able to carry the team. The best way to do that is keep Joe Flacco upright and let him throw seeds. Let him throw seeds all over the field. And so Dalton Risner, you are a starter. If it were me this week against the Jets, I would do one of two things. I would either put Dylan Fairchild in at left guard and Dalton Risner at right guard, or if I'm going with Risner at left guard, then I would just go with the veteran and Lucas Patrick at right guard. I think the rookies would be able to handle it. I certainly think that it's one of those things where Jalen Rivers, he's mature, he'll be fine. Dylan Fairchild, I think he's mature and will be fine too, but you might say, hey, we have enough invested in him and his level of play is a bit higher than Jalen's. We can get by with him at left guard and roll Dalton Risner to the right side. We're going to have you covered no matter what they do right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Enter the Jungle, of course, will be Tuesday at 8. And we're really excited. It's a big week. Can the Bengals get to 500? We're going to cover it every single step of the way. And if you're looking for more, make sure you check out bengalstalk.com. For Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Cincinnati Bengals Talk.